Hello everyone, Ryan here. Horton Hears A Who by Dr. Seuss. I read this during the month of March, and I definitely enjoyed it. Essentially, Horton is an elephant, and one day he decides that he wants to join the band, The Who, and he inevitably does. He replaces the singer, Roger Daltrey. And they go on to fame and fortune. No, not really. I don't know. Maybe that could be one possible storyline for the character Horton. I think so. But I mean, okay, so no, really, it's about Horton the elephant. One day he discovers this clover of some kind, and he notices there's a small speck on it, and it turns out to be this entire, I guess you'd say, village or town called Whoville. And he picks up this clover and then pretty much just walks around with it, and he tries to convince all of these other animals that inhabit the same forest. I don't know if he's supposed to live in a forest or jungle of some kind. But anyways, he tries to, convince, well, maybe not convince, he tries to see if any of the other animals can see what he sees, see this town, and or hear some of the townspeople, which I believe they're called Whovians, or I don't know. Maybe I got that wrong. So then, of course, none of the other animals can see what he sees on this clover, and right away they write him off as crazy, and then I would even say, venture to say that it gets to the point where these other animals, they become convinced that Horton is kind of like a danger to them, because they think he's crazy, and because none of them can see this supposed miniature town on this clover. And that eventually gets to the point where Horton talks to the mayor of Whoville, and the mayor agrees that to have all the citizens of Whoville make lots of noise, and so they can make their presence known, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And eventually they do, and eventually the other animals can hear, I guess, some kind of noise emanating from this speck on this clover. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't mean to spoil anything, but I mean, I don't really feel like it's one of those stories that can be explained without spoiling it, but that's kind of how I feel most Dr. Seuss stories tend to be. But I guess usually it's the message that is the most important thing to take away. So as for this one, I kind of feel like, I guess the main message is something to do with the fact that one person, one individual can make a difference. Even if it, it feels like nobody else believes you, like nobody else supports you in whatever cause you're a part of, or even, you could even say, if you feel like nobody else supports you and your goals, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whatever it is you're determined to do, to accomplish, and because pretty much, Horton, his main goal in this story is just trying to get the town of Whoville recognized by the other animals that were calling him crazy, and And yeah, pretty much that's how I interpreted it. I mean, I don't know how else to interpret it. I would say there was one point in the story where I felt like it kind of reminded me of like some kind of something you would expect from some kind of story that briefly touches upon I would say, the insanity of prejudice, like the whole thing about the fear of the unknown. And because that's like I said, you know, the other animals, it seemed like they became afraid of Horton because to them, they felt like he became so crazy that they eventually considered him to be a danger to everyone else around him. So, and it was just mostly because, you know, fear of the unknown, fear of, you know, they had no idea what was going on, you know, but ultimately it seemed like they refused to believe in it, or, yeah, I don't know. That's how I interpreted most of it. So, let me know if you read this, how you interpreted it. If you interpreted, I mean, obviously I expect everyone interprets things their own way. So that's what I got from it. You know, the basic core message was that one person can make a difference, no matter what, you know. Some examples that popped into my mind was, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, a lot of other people that were a part of the civil rights movement. Yeah, you know, the whole thing about, such as, I mean, you think about everybody that was a part of the civil rights movement, they were constantly told, you know, that they weren't going to make a difference, you know. Maybe, you know, not in those exact words, but pretty much, you know. But they kept at it, and they ultimately did make a difference. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, how, you know, we can get into semantics here and there. But ultimately, yeah, one person can make a difference. And more of us need to be made aware of that on a regular basis. So, yeah. Ultimately, I give the story 5 stars. Yeah. Just, you know, because the story, it's a decent story, but also the message is definitely an awesome and important message to get across. So, yeah, that'll do it for my review of Horton Hears A Who by Dr. Seuss. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, till next time, don't forget to keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.